Center at the Domain Summit. This is your first time attending as well, yes? Yeah. All right. But such a happy, welcoming smile. Ladies and gentlemen, Dixon Jones.
I'll probably need that, don't I? Yeah. Okay. First time talking here, but not my first time talking in SEO or in technical stuff. I'm going to be talking about backlink data and how you can use backlink data to evaluate domains, how you use backlink data to look at the history of domains over time. And as you're going through it, I want you to think about how that information transfers to value for a domain, because I think it's something that a lot of our customers use. We're not traditionally a domain name company. We're a data source that domainers use to evaluate domains. So why backlink data matters, I'm going to step down here if that's all right. The history of a domain impacts value. So we're going a long way from the new domains out there. We're going really for the domains that have been around for a long time. But if you've got a link from Wikipedia and then the domain changes hands, there's value in that link. And if you can see it before you buy a domain, that's valuable. The link profile can make or break sales. A lot of people, when they're buying or selling domains, rely on this information for their valuations. And you can avoid lemon domains and spot hidden gems based purely on the backlink data that historically has been out there for a domain. So when you do buy a domain, of course, there's a bunch of legacy penalties or spam that things like Google may have given to you over the years. And clearly knowing that in advance is a useful thing. There may be hidden authority in a domain. As I say, things like a link from Wikipedia, a link from a government website can make a big difference to your brand if you want a head start. And buying risks as well, inheriting things that have got manual penalties from organizations, not necessarily a good thing. So knowing this information is valuable. And that's kind of what Majestic does. So a slide on Majestic is that it crawls the internet just like Google does, but instead of keeping all of the on-page information, it collects the link network, and that allows you to go and find every page that is linked to a domain. But also it does quite a lot of evaluation on that, mathematical evaluation, akin to the PageRank algorithm that a lot of us may know. We use trust flow and citation flow, which I'll come into a little bit in another slide. To give you an idea of volume of the crawls, there's around about 500 million tweets a day on X, and in the same day, typically, Majestic is crawling around about 7 billion URLs. Over time, having a look at today's stats, there's around about 22 trillion, that's thousand million URLs in the system evaluated. So quite a lot of crawl data, but as I say, it's all about the map. It's not about the content on the page for us. And the things that investors should watch are things like trust flow and citation flow. I'll explain those in a second. Looking at the link graph, being able to go and click around and see who links to you and then who links to that one and who links to that one. You start to see stories emerging if you're that kind of visually orientated person. Of course, things like the referring domains is very, very important. You know, have you got links from Wikipedia? Has it got links from the Times? But also that history over time is very important. It may be that way back in the day, it was a porn site and you don't really want that for your law firm. That may be the sort of thing. And you find that sort of information out by the anchor text of those links that are there and the context of those links that are coming through. And then the topical trust flow. Topical trust flow is like trust flow, but it's categorized. I'll come on to that a little bit as well. And then the other thing that Majestic allows you to do is to take thousands of domains, plug them from a spreadsheet straight up, and then get these evaluations over thousands of domains all in one go. So a very cost-effective way to evaluate a website and a lot of other information as well. So how do we get these figures, these citation flow and trust flow? It's not just about making the map. It's about doing this maths as well, which is akin to the PageRank algorithm, which basically goes around the internet and says, right, let's say all these pages on the internet are worth 1 point. And this page has got 10 links going out of it, and this page has only got 2 links going out of it. Let's follow that information and divide that 1 by 10 or by 2, depending on the number of outbound links. And then let's evaluate it again and again and again and again. And you end up with a map where you've just shifted all of that value from one place to another place, and you've got another value. And you do it again and again and again and again, and you get an iterative algorithm of the internet, and it allows you to evaluate how influential a web page is. So citation flow, it's similar to the PageRank algorithm, and I've got a whole presentation on the PageRank algorithm and a maths and a downloadable spreadsheet if you're that, geeky about it, and we can do that another time. So citation flow is kind of like that algorithm. Trust flow is the same, but imagine that you start with not every page as 1, but only the pages that you knew were built by human beings as 1, and you propagate that. Now you have a slightly different metric, and the difference between those figures starts to give you an idea of the difference between volumes of links and the quality of those links. So these links together, these numbers together, can be a very powerful methodology for understanding the internet. If we then overlay that with the concept that some of these links are from websites we know about history, and some of them are from websites we know about politics, and some of them are from websites about, maths, whatever it may be, then we can start to propagate topics as well. And so we also have another metric called topical trust flow, which is a similar sort of concept. But now we can see historically where the domain name has been associated with history or with politics. So any web page, any website out there has a history before you get it. And it's quite valuable. But it only works, this maths, if you look at the whole internet. So this algorithm, the PageRank algorithm, which is similar, was done by a study way back in, I don't know when we did this. So this came out in 2014 from the Majestic site. We've been around a long time. We've been around crawling since 2006. Somebody did a study on the PageRank algorithm just on Wikipedia, but they didn't include any links from the rest of the world. They just did the maths on the Wikipedia, because if they try to do the rest, they've got to crawl the internet, which is hard. Majestic could do it, but the guy at University of whatever, Stanford, couldn't. And their study did the similar sort of maths and came out with the understanding that the Swedish botanist Carl Linnaeus was more influential, according to the maths, than Jesus or Hitler, which may or may not be true. Depends on who you are and your perspective. But I think as soon as you put in the flow metrics of trust flow or citation flow or Google's PageRank back at the time, it came out that actually Carl came bottom of that list in terms of influence, and Jesus and Hitler more affected society. At scale, so any link on the internet can be a good signal, bad signal, no signal. And each one is prone to error. We can all link out to something completely irrelevantly. But the thing is that over scale, as you increase that maths, the scale at error decreases, and the confidence in the signal that links give you increases at scale. So it's kind of interesting and kind of valuable. And so this is from the Majestic link graph. This is great. So this is a typical example of what we can find with our link graph of a website. So I've put this website into the system, and it's come back with all the links and the people that are linking to the links. And we see here that there's this massive ball of links. Clearly, these web pages and these websites are semantically close to each other, probably owned by the same company, the same network, maybe the same domain name reseller, whatever it may be. This probably not as valuable as this one over here that's coming in, because this is also connected up to a web in a wider way. So as you go around these link graphs, you can start to find stories. You can click on these, find out what the websites are, go back and check them over time. And different websites have completely different patterns on the internet. So these are 4 random ones, all the ones from looking like a unicorn to Africa to, that's my own website, dixonjones.com on this end. So different websites will have different patterns, and they'll tell a different story about the internet. But of course, we need to know quite quickly what that pattern is, what it means. So what we're able to do is evaluate a lot of web pages in quick succession. So you can either get them in this format where you just put in 5 websites at the top, or you can get a spreadsheet of 1,000 and upload them. And then we can start getting the flow metrics for all of those websites. We can also see the topical metrics, so how much of that link data is related to, what do we got here, to education, and how much is dedicated to philosophy, whatever it may be. We've got about 800 topics in the system. And then also the bare metrics, like how many referring domains, how many subdomains are linking through, that kind of information is all there as well. And it's all there at a touch of a button. Press a button, it's there, it's done, and it's been collecting that data for years and years. So it goes back for, as I say, 20 years now. So 2006 it started collecting it. So we've got information that's a long, long way back. And this is actually the volume sort of information. So now we've got a load of web pages coming out, and we can start to see their influence overall, but then how that's broken down between different topic areas as well. So it becomes a very good use of seeing whether a web domain is suited for your particular industry or your particular sector. So Topical Trust Flow is a very powerful tool. It's more granular than, say, PageRank, Google's tool, because it goes down to a page level, it goes down to topical level as well. It updates continually. The information changes every day. We're crawling 7 billion URLs a day. The maths is done, and so it will update. And it provides a measurable context of influence of a web page, influence of a website at scale. So you can see how it's valuable in evaluating whether you want a domain, what you're going to do with a domain, how you might monetize a domain. It's available both at the page level and site level. And as I say, Topical Trust Flow has around about 800 topics that it's migrating out of there, or propagating out of there. It can really compare all types of online data. People, pages, sites, plugins. If there's a URL for it, then it's probably got some data. So my LinkedIn profile, your LinkedIn profile probably is in there. And I can sit there and use that to establish whether your LinkedIn profile is influential in a different context, or a Twitter profile, sorry, X, whatever it may be. So there's all sorts of information you could use way beyond just domains. And then you can use it to uncover hidden value, sleeping domains. There are plenty out there still of sleeping domains that people don't think are any good, with strong, clean links coming into them from places like, I'm saying Wikipedia because it's there and open source, and I'm not going to get sued for saying it. And spotting off-topic links that may reduce value as well. As I say, links from non-reputable locations might be something that you don't want at the start of your journey on a new domain name. And then domains with high authority referring domains, similar to the top actually, but there we go. The way in which people link to you, also we track. So the anchor text that is in any links we track over time. I've taken this one from DixonJones.com because, you know, and of course, you know, I can see that the links of Dixon Jones are there. It's, you know, a page rank in there. There's some stuff from Chinese, you know. There's probably some stuff from an architect firm, because there's an architect firm called Dixon Jones, long since bankrupt, but nevertheless still linking to me every now and then. And so I can find a very quick flash of any website just by having a look at the anchor text and seeing that in a word cloud if I don't want to go any further. But I can get more granular by understanding the underlying value of those links using the link context module of the tool, because what that does is it looks at where on the page a link was. It takes a little bit of understanding. This little chart on the right-hand side, that green line says the link was about a third of the way down the page, and because it's the only link in there, it's one link on its own. Whereas the one on the right-hand, the one below, it's much higher up on the page, but all of those yellow bars there are other links, so it's just in a list of links, so not as valuable as the one there that's in context and got a rich wording around it. So if you're going to be buying a domain, you can use something like Majestic or Backlink data to do some due diligence, run domains through something like Majestic, Site Explorer, and analyze the historic index, the backlink story. What kind of story is that domain telling you if you're buying or rebuying an old domain? check the trust flow and the anchor text and the referring domains. See if they're right for you. Investigate lost backlinks as well, because those lost backlinks may tell a story, because it may be that a website was very, very influential, but then everybody dropped the links, they stopped linking to it, and it dropped for a very good reason. And we can track that as well, what happened. And then you can use that, hopefully, to assess a domain's true market value, depending on who you are and what you're using it for. If you're selling it, please do some pre-flight checks to show a clean history, because whether they use Majestic's data or somebody else's data, most buyers will do some kind of backlink analysis on your purchase. So you do want to do some pre-flight checks to try and show a clean history. Maybe go and get rid of that really dodgy link if it's really bad. And you can use Majestic reports as well to boost buyer confidence. A buyer knows Majestic and sees the Majestic data, knows that it's stuff that isn't just guessed, it's mathematically got to. It may not be right, it may be giving a weird view of the world, but it's a mathematical view of the world. It highlights hidden strengths, unique links, and look for high trust flow and high topical relevance. Okay, and things to avoid: toxic link patterns. So that link thing where you found this bundle of tightly controlled links, the seller might control that whole setup. So they may be selling you something that looks good, and the second you buy it, they take away one link, and the whole bundle comes crashing down. You want to look at irrelevant profiles, things that are completely a topic mismatch. You also want to look at artificial backlink bumps, things that happened all over in a short period of time, came and left, may have left a legacy. Something like Katrina, the typhoon typhoon. Anyway, I come from Hong Kong, but anyway, the typhoon in New Orleans suddenly created a whole story. 10 minutes later, no storm, but the damage that was left was quite significant. So an effect in time can leave a legacy. And you can find that in a backlink data if you're looking for stories. So my takeaways for you, well, apart from the fact that tomorrow we'll be doing a little demo of Majestic if you want to see it, and we've got to stand downstairs. But links and their history reveal a lot about a domain that other metrics really can't tell you. Referring domains or link counts, which you can get in a number of tools, are not as effective as something like trust flow and citation flow for really evaluating a domain, because they don't have the ability to do the maths on the whole internet to see whether one link is stronger than another. Anchor text and link context can further help evaluate a domain, and including link profiling in your due diligence is pretty essential, I would say, when you're buying or selling domains. Okay, and that's all I have for you. Thanks for taking the time to listen to me. Cheers. Happy to answer any questions if you got them. No one wants to speak to me? That's fine. We do, sir. Yeah, one. I'm going to repeat the question for the audience. Yeah, okay. Here we go. Join the
So the practice of evaluating backlinks or links in general is quite well established. Yeah. So are all diamonds already kind of found, would you say, and already priced up? Yeah. And related to that is, what's the most effective strategy for? Because I know you've got to look at the maths, right? The trust value.
So question was, as a lot of the maths has already been done, or things have been evaluated, do things change? I think there's a number of things there. The first is, yes, things are changing all the time. So links, just because a link was there for the last 10 years doesn't mean to say it's going to be there tomorrow. So it's a dynamic process. And if you think about any brand that's long since gone, Betamax, I'm sure, okay, that was before links were a thing, but, it came, it was big, it went, it lost, it filtered away. So it's a dynamic system, but also the introduction of things like link context suddenly adds a new layer of complexity to the system. So topical trust flow, it may be that this web domain is very useless to you, but maybe very useful for you because of the nature of that backlink profile. So there is a personal bit of this maths that I can't give you because I don't know what your business that you want to do with that domain is. So I think things do change over time. I think that there's only about 4 real data sources for backlink data of any value in the world. I mean, you probably see more, but they're probably going back to a Majestic, an Ahrefs, or a, one of those kind of data sources. And I think that only one of those data sources stayed true to just the link information. So we haven't gone into a full SEO suite or whatever. So it tends to be, you probably have seen that data, but doesn't mean to say that data doesn't change over time. And also, you still got to drill into the individual domains if you really want to buy one peach. If you want to buy 1,000 peaches, well, the bulk data is very good for that. But you'll make some mistakes. Thank you. If anybody wants to try Majestic, if you go down to the stand and ask for the QR code, you can get your own website data for free. So, if you want to give us $50, we'll give you loads of data. Thanks a lot.
Thanks so much.